Hello and welcome to the WriteCome.com podcast, where we help you to make money from your words. Each episode will be sharing tips, tricks, and strategies you can use to make more money from your writing, publishing, and marketing to your fans and audience. Let's get started with your host, Barry J. McDonald.
Hi, this is Barry here, and you are very welcome to today's podcast episode from WriteCome.com. And today's podcast episode is entitled Solve More Expensive Problems. Now, if you go back a couple of episodes in the podcast here, you'll probably hear me mention or make mention of some of the changes that I have made on the WriteCome site. And the reason I have made those changes was because of something I heard the great Alex Hormozi say in his book, $100 Million Offers. Now, if you have a Kindle app, I would highly recommend you head straight over to the Kindle store right now and do a search for $100 million offers, because that book is very inexpensive, and for the amount of content that Alex gives away in that book, it is absolutely amazing. Some of the stuff he covers in that book. Now, if you're someone maybe who is marketing, if you are someone who is trying to sell your courses, or you're wondering how can you actually come up with a great offer that will actually convince people to buy your products and your services, I would recommend that you actually grab a copy of that. And the content in that book I think is so good, you probably would pay maybe $10,000 to go to a large seminar to find it, and even then I don't think those people would actually cover it in as much detail as Alex does in that book. So in reading that book, I came upon a sentence that Alex was talking about solving more expensive problems. And the more I thought about the kind of content that I was creating on the WriteCome site and some of the courses that I had over there, I was kind of thinking to myself, am I really solving any expensive problems? And if I'm not really solving any expensive problems, can I really expect to be paid well for it? You know, at the time I was creating courses that were helping people in the low book content niche in the Kindle store. So we're talking people who were creating maybe planners, workbooks, colouring books and things like that. And while I was solving their problems, like maybe showing them how they could create their own kind of professional looking colouring book images, or I was showing them how they could format their planners or how they could create workbooks for kids and stuff like that, I was only solving small problems. And you know, I think that was why I wasn't actually making much money on those courses, because when you think about it, those people weren't really waking up in the middle of the night in a mad sweat saying, oh my God, how am I ever going to create colouring book images for my colouring book? There was nobody that ever said that. And I think I'd be worried about somebody if they did set up in the middle of the night in a cold sweat, panicking about something like that. But because those people weren't really panicking about it, and because it was a kind of a small problem in their lives, they were only really willing to pay a small amount to get that problem solved. Now, whereas if somebody had a larger problem, for example, maybe if they had a health issue, or for example, maybe they had a financial difficulty, you know, things like that would make them sit up in the night and worry about the future. You know, if I solved a larger problem that they had, well then chances are good I could charge them more for it if I did solve that problem. So that was why I kind of went back through the the WriteCome site and just had a look at some of the courses that I was creating and thinking to myself, is this course, is it really, you know, is it solving an expensive problem? And if it's not solving an expensive problem, well, chances are good maybe these people would probably go somewhere else and somebody else will probably have solved that problem. Maybe in some case, some people are actually giving the solution to their problem away for free because they don't see any value in that solution. And then I am going to lose out on sales that way. So that's what I'm doing at the moment, is kind of going back through all the content, all the courses, and I'm thinking to myself, is there larger problems that I can solve, more expensive problems that I can solve, problems that people have right now that are causing them pain, that are making them unhappy, you know, and if I can solve that, if I can make a big difference in someone's life, if I can make them happy, if I can allow them to create courses and make money from home, well then there is a chance, because I'm doing stuff like that and it's more kind of expensive problem that I'm solving, well then I will probably make more money from it in the long run. So whatever you're doing right now, if you have created any courses or if you're creating any content and things like that, kind of maybe run it through that kind of mental filter of yours. Just ask yourself that question. This content or this course that I'm creating right now, am I really solving a large problem? You know, an expensive problem? And if it's not, well, maybe you need to stop for a moment and just think to yourself, is there any kind of larger problems? Is there any more expensive problems? Is there any problems that people in my category, my niche, or whatever I am in right now, is there people who have larger problems like that? Now, you may find if you are solving a larger problem or more expensive problem, you're probably going to have to put your thinking cap on. You're probably going to have to do a lot more studying. You may have to, spend some money to come up with a solution. But if you do come up with a good solution to that problem, chances are good you will be well paid for solving that expensive problem. So keep that in mind today. What problems are you solving? Are they expensive or are they cheap? And if they are cheap, well, you can't really expect to earn much money in the long run on them. So as always, if you'd like to find out more about Writecome, you can head on over to Writecome, that's WRITECOME.com. And if you head over the homepage right now, I have a wonderful free course, or blueprint I should say, and it's called How to Become an Online Celebrity. So if you are looking to become an online celebrity, or if you are intrigued by the title of that report, head on over to the Writecome site, just put your details into the opt-in box, and you can download a free copy in a matter of moments. So as always, thanks for your time today. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us today. If you'd like more from the Writecome.com podcast, be sure to subscribe now for more tips, tricks, and ideas you can use to make more money from your words. See you in the next episode.